For most of human history, night was not quiet. It was not peaceful. It was not the soft blanket we imagine today, with locked doors, glowing screens, and streetlights humming outside. Night was a living thing. It crept into the trees. It hid teeth in the grass. It made every snapping branch sound like a warning. And for the humans sitting around a small fire thousands of years ago, the question was never, will we sleep well tonight? The question was, will we all still be here in the morning? Imagine a camp in the ancient world. No walls, no windows, no alarms. Just a group of tired people, children pressed close to their parents, hunters with aching legs, elders watching the flames, and beyond the ring of fire, darkness so thick it felt almost solid. Somewhere out there, lions moved without making a sound. Wolves tested the air. Hyenas waited for weakness. Rival groups might be walking under the same moon, carrying spears and hunger. To survive the night, humans had to become cleverer than fear itself. Their first great weapon was fire. Fire was not just warmth. Fire was a shield that danced. Predators that feared flame kept their distance, and humans quickly learned that a bright campfire could turn a vulnerable camp into a dangerous place to approach. The fire cracked, sparked, smoked, and announced, "Something is awake here." But fire was also tricky. It had to be fed. If it died, the darkness moved closer. So in many camps, someone stayed awake to keep the flames alive. That person was not just tending fire. They were guarding the future. They added dry wood, watched the shadows, listened for strange movement, and protected the sleeping group from the moment when a predator might decide the camp had gone weak. But fire alone was never enough. Humans learned to choose their camps carefully. A bad campsite could kill you before you even realized the danger. Our ancestors looked for places that were easier to defend: the mouth of a cave, the top of a rise, a spot near rocks, a river bend, a cliff face, or a clearing where nothing could sneak too close without being seen. They avoided thick bushes where animals or enemies could hide. They used nature like a fortress. A cave meant no one could attack from behind. A river meant one side of the camp was already protected. A hill meant better vision. A narrow entrance meant fewer directions to guard. Long before castles and city walls, humans were already thinking like engineers. They were asking, where can danger come from, and how do we make that harder? Then came the perimeter. This is where survival became almost artistic. Some groups dragged thorny branches around camp to create rough barriers. These were not pretty fences. They were painful warnings. Anything trying to creep through would snap twigs, rustle leaves, get scratched, slow down, and make noise. In parts of Africa, thorn fences called bomas became a powerful way to protect people and livestock from predators. The idea was simple but brilliant. If you cannot build a stone wall, build a wall of thorns. Other camps used logs, stones, brush, or even hanging objects that clattered if disturbed. Before electric alarms, humans made alarms out of the world itself. A dry branch in the wrong place could become a signal. A pile of shells or bones could become a noise trap. Dogs, once they joined human camps, changed everything. A human nose is weak in the night. A dog's nose reads the dark like a book. Dogs could smell strangers, predators, and movement long before humans noticed anything. They barked, growled, paced, and turned invisible danger into sound. This partnership may have been one of the greatest security upgrades in human history. With dogs near camp, humans gained living alarm systems, loyal guards, hunting partners, and warm companions. The night became a little less mysterious because someone with sharper senses was listening too. But perhaps the most important protection was not fire, fences, or dogs. It was teamwork. Humans survived because they did not sleep all at once. In many groups, people took turns keeping watch. One person stayed awake while others slept, then woke another before resting. This was exhausting, but it meant the camp had eyes open when predators expected weakness. The watcher's job was serious. They listened for footsteps, sniffed for smoke, watched the edge of the firelight, and studied the behavior of animals. If birds suddenly burst from trees, if dogs stiffened, if insects went quiet, if the wind carried an unfamiliar scent, the watcher paid attention. Night guarding was not just staring into darkness. It was reading clues. It was knowing the normal sounds of the land so the wrong sound stood out like a shout. Humans also slept in patterns that protected the most vulnerable. Children were kept toward the center. Elders and injured people stayed near the fire. Stronger adults often slept closer to the outside. Weapons within reach. Spears, clubs, knives, axes, and stones were not stored away neatly. They were kept close enough to grab in a heartbeat. In a world without warning sirens, a few seconds could decide everything. Some camps placed livestock near the center too, because animals were wealth, food, transport, and survival. Losing them at night could mean starvation later. The camp was not random. It was a living circle of protection, with warmth and weakness at the center, strength and vigilance at the edge. And then there was sound. Modern people often try to make camps quiet, but ancient humans understood that sound could protect them. Singing, talking, drumming, chanting, and storytelling around the fire did more than entertain. It told the wilderness, "We are many, we are awake, we are not easy prey." A lone person in the dark is vulnerable. A group making noise around flame is a problem. Predators are practical. They do not want injury. A wounded predator may starve. So if a camp sounded alert, large, and dangerous, many animals chose easier meals elsewhere. Stories themselves became part of night survival. Around fires, humans taught children what to fear, where not to wander, what tracks meant, what sounds belonged to which animals, and what happened to those who ignored warnings. A frightening tale was not just entertainment, it was memory wearing a mask. It carried survival lessons across generations. Do not go beyond the light. Do not answer strange sounds. Do not sleep away from the group. The monsters in old stories may have been imaginary, but the danger behind them was very real. As humans became farmers and herders, night protection became even more organized. Camps turned into villages. Temporary barriers became fences. Fences became walls. Watchers became guards. Fires became watchfires. Dogs patrolled yards and herd enclosures. People built homes close together so that a threat to one family became a threat everyone could answer. Early villages often had defensive ditches, palisades, gates, and watchpoints. Night was still dangerous, but humans were no longer just hiding from it. They were redesigning the battlefield. The same thinking appeared across the world in different forms. Nomads arranged tents in circles. Herders placed animals in protected enclosures. Warriors slept near entrances. Travelers camped beside roads in groups instead of alone. Caravans crossed deserts with guards and watch rotations because thieves, raiders, and wild animals all understood the value of darkness. On frontiers, people built signal fires and watchtowers. In forests, they camped where dry leaves would reveal footsteps. In snowy lands, tracks around camp could expose night visitors by morning. In wetlands, water acted as a moat. Everywhere, humans asked the same ancient question: how do we make the night betray anyone who comes too close? One of the most fascinating things is that night defense was not only physical, it was psychological. Firelight creates a boundary. Inside it, people feel human. Outside it, imagination grows claws. Our ancestors used that boundary. They made the camp look alive even when most people slept. A fire left burning low could still suggest wakefulness. Spears stuck near the entrance could warn enemies. Dogs moving around the edge could create uncertainty. Noise traps could make attackers wonder how many people were awake. The goal was not always to fight. Often the goal was to make danger hesitate. Hesitation saves lives. If a predator pauses, the camp wakes. If an enemy worries about being discovered, they may leave. Good night protection was not just about winning a battle. It was about preventing one from starting. And yet, even with all these defenses, the night never became completely safe. That is what made humans sharper. Every campfire was a tiny island in an ocean of risk. Every night was a test of memory, discipline, and trust. Someone had to gather enough wood before sunset. Someone had to check the perimeter. Someone had to bring children close. Someone had to keep weapons ready. Someone had to stay awake when their body begged for sleep. Survival was not one heroic act. It was 100 small decisions made before danger arrived. This is why the ancient camp at night is such a powerful image. It shows humans at their weakest and most brilliant at the same time. We did not have claws like big cats. We did not have the speed of deer, the armor of rhinos, or the night vision of owls. But we had fire. We had planning. We had voices. We had each other. We turned sticks into alarms, thorns into walls, dogs into sentries, stories into warnings, and fear into strategy. The darkness did not disappear. Humans simply learned to push it back, step by step, spark by spark. The next time you sit near a campfire, listen closely. The crackle, the warmth, the circle of light, the instinct to sit together instead of apart. All of it is older than cities, older than written language, older than almost everything we call civilization. Somewhere deep in human memory, we still understand what that circle means. It means safety. It means someone is watching. It means the night is not allowed to take us easily. And that may be one of humanity's oldest victories, not defeating the darkness completely, but learning how to survive inside it.